host, CJ3, the Gym Slasher, back at it again. You could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me, and I appreciate that. Got some breaking news here for you, and I really wanted to jump on this with Aaron Rodgers, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, having Coach Mike McCarthy being their official head coach from Mike Tomlin stepping down. Is this a good thing or a bad thing for Pittsburgh? I'm not a Steelers fan, I'm a Rams fan, but I'm a football fan overall. Let me put some parameters on this. This is a head scratcher for myself. Watching football is the amount of football that I've watched over my life. Pittsburgh Steelers has been always one of those staples in the NFL that just seems to always find themselves relevant, always find themselves competitive, always finding themselves respectable amongst the league. The Rooney family in itself was the ones who helped create the Rooney Rule, where it allows and open up the door for minorities, black men, black males, white, all minorities to be allowed to get an opportunity for a head coaching position. I always think that's wonderful. I'm not going to get into no DEI thing, and this is none of that. I always genuinely believe let the best person win. I don't care who they are. Are they best for the job? That's it. Go in that route. You can't go wrong. Not off of this or that. And, yes, you guys got to have a mesh. It's got to work. You got to be in sync in terms of as a coach, as GM and your offensive coordinator, all that stuff has to align and mesh. But to pick somebody based off of just simply the color of their skin is asinine to me. You should pick the best person for the position, period. When they picked Mike Tomlin, when he came in at 34, 35 years old, he was the best for the position. And now we can look back and see for 19 years, the man never lost, never had a losing record. I would say overall, that was a well-picked position, a well-picked coach for the Steelers and the Rooney family. I scratch my head at this of Mike McCarthy because it kind of goes against what Pittsburgh traditionally has done when it comes to their head coaches. Pittsburgh is one of those very rare franchises that has had, the stats or the numbers are saying 4 or 5 head coaches over the span of that franchise's existence, which is absolutely amazing and impressive. So generally, with Bill Cowher, he was relatively young, I think 40, 41 at the time when he got hired. Again, we talked about Mike Tomlin at 34, 35. Chuck Noll, I think he was relatively young when they hired him, and they allowed that as a young coach to build their franchise, to build up with their program. Mike McCarthy, in terms of age, is a little bit more over the 50, I say, and I haven't dug into exactly his age, but I want to say he's somewhere in the mid 50s, potentially a little older than that. And obviously it's the love for, or that continuity that he has for Aaron Rodgers, which kind of begs the question, could Aaron Rodgers potentially be playing more than the following season? I mean, I don't think they make that hire without some kind of guarantee that he's going to be here, at least for sure, next year or the 2026 football season. But I would question potentially maybe 2027. I mean, did they have some say? Did Aaron Rodgers have some say in this or not? Those are questions that kind of that I may be picking up on to see how that went. But with that being said, having Mike McCarthy there is a head scratcher to me because he don't check the marks of a Pittsburgh Steelers, a way of hiring their head coach. They tend to go the younger route and allow that coach to build up, as opposed to having somebody that's kind of in that in between. However, he is a good coach. This is his third, go around, first with Green Bay, then with Dallas. Now with Pittsburgh, he's obviously an offensive minded coach. You know, he's had good offenses with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. He's had good offenses with the Green Bay Packers and obviously with Aaron Rodgers. So it seems like they're more transitioning to that and tailoring Aaron Rodgers and try to boost up the offense and the flow of things. Just to touch on Mike Tomlin and that is just on why and what I believe that may have happened on that. I just think that, you know, your voice just kind of gets stale sometimes when you're in as a coach and seems like you just hit a plateau or hit a wall. And I think at that point, Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh just kind of had that where it looks like this is just where we're going to be at, where we're 10-7, 9 and, you know, this kind of weird 9-6, or 11-6, excuse me, type of, you know, position or, just barely being over 500, 9-7 or 8, this kind of thing. So I think they just want to boost that up to that next level. The AFC North is wide open. The Bengals got their dysfunction. Obviously, Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, they got some dysfunction. In Cleveland, they got some dysfunction. Everybody outside of Cincinnati is going through a new head coach with Baltimore, with now Pittsburgh, and then, with Cleveland. So it's wide open. I personally would have kept Tomlin, but he stepped away. But I think he knew the writing on the wall and basically said, "Look, I'm leaving before you before you fire me. I ain't going out like that." But where do I see the Pittsburgh Steelers at now with Coach McCarthy? I think early in a maybe a 3 to 4 year window, I can see them making some solid noise, and depending on who they pick up from Aaron Rodgers, if Aaron Rodgers decide on hanging him up after this season, I do believe he's coming back for the 26th season. It's the 2027 season that I have questions on, and that's going to be determined how Pittsburgh can move to the next level, if they can at all, or there could be some kind of big major trade there going along with the quarterback position. As you know, in any NFL franchise, the quarterback position is the pillar. It drives where you're going to go and how you're going to do things, unless you got a dynamic defense. But you got to have that quarterback to really take you to that next level. So with this, I know this is kind of early. This is new in terms of breaking news and all that, but I just really want to kind of get ahead of it in terms of putting my opinion on it. It's a head scratcher. I'm not completely sold on it long term. Short term, I think it's a good pick if that's the mindset that they're thinking of in terms of short term, since they got a veteran quarterback. It'd be interesting to see what they do in the NFL draft. That to me is going to tell me or dictate where they're trying to go in their future. But with that being said, I want to know y'all thoughts. Is this a good move to have Aaron Rodgers, Mark McCarthy back linking it up again? Is this a Super Bowl move, or is this a dud? Y'all let me know what y'all think. With that being said, who are you? What is your mission? I appreciate you guys. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. Again, hype me up. Appreciate you guys. With all that being said, peace.